Subject OC. Hello students. Chapter number 3. Name of chapter is planning. In previous lecture we have done meaning of planning and its importance. Beside that we have done characteristics of planning. Once again we remind it meaning of planning. Once again we revise it. Planning means in 5 or 10 minutes we will complete the previous lecture, revision of previous lecture. Meaning of planning. Planning means deciding in advance about the work to be done in future. Planning is the process of deciding in advance about the work to be done in future. In other words, planning means deciding in advance what to do, when to do, how to do, and by whom it is to be done. Through planning we can do our work in a systematic manner. Planning is made for future in advance. For future means there are various uncertainties, risk or uncertainties may arise due to internal and external factors. We all know, we have already studied in 11th standard also. These external factors may be political factors, government policies, competitors policies, legal factors means law or act enacted by government, social factors, cultural factors. These are all factors because of which business may affected adversely. So in order to reduce or avoid those risk or uncertainties, planning is made. So planning is made for future in order to avoid those risks and uncertainties which may affect our business negatively. Meaning of planning is completed. Beside this, we know that planning reduces risk and uncertainties. It means it has great importance in not only in business unit, it is also useful in other fields like education fields, sports fields, then religious institutions, social institutions. So everywhere planning is needed for the accomplishment of a specific purpose. That's why central government has also realized the importance of planning. That's why they have constituted a planning commission. They are making 5-year plans for a specific objective, sometimes to reduce poverty, sometimes to reduce unemployment, to increase growth rate, means GDP, economic growth rate. So they are making different objectives. They are setting different objectives in different 5-year plans. These are called planning. So importance of planning is, in short, we have done in previous lecture. Planning. This is importance. We have already done importance. First, planning reduces risk and uncertainties. First point, planning reduces risk and uncertainties. Second, it reduces wastage of resources. Then third, we have done, due to planning, maximum utilization of resources is possible. Fourth, it brings smoothness in other managerial functions. It brings smoothness in other managerial functions. It brings feeling of cooperation among employees. And due to all these functions, work can be done in a systematic manner. As a result, planning helps in accomplishment of objective. Objective means predetermined objective. Whatever objective, whatever target, whatever goal is decided by business unit in advance, planning helps in achieving those objectives or target. So these are the importance of planning. Once again, planning means deciding in advance what to do, when to do, how to do, and by whom it is to be done. Planning is made for future in present. Planning reduces risk and uncertainties which may arise in future due to internal or external factors and which may affect our business negatively. So it reduces those risks. Beside this, planning is not applicable in business unit only. It can be applied in other fields also, like battlefields, sports means sports, then education, religious institutions, social institutions. So everywhere planning is applicable wherever we have some specific purpose. Government has also realized the importance of planning. That's why they had also constituted planning commission in the year 1951 in order to achieve some particular objective. They are making 5-year plans, and these are the, in short, these are the importance of planning. You are not required to explain these points, only you have to understand the meaning of these points. It reduces risk and uncertainties. It reduces wastage of resources to a larger extent. Then due to planning, maximum or optimum utilization, not maximum, optimum, correct word is optimum. Optimum utilization of resources is possible due to planning. It brings smoothness in other managerial functions. I have already explained managerial functions are planning. This is the first function, planning, then organizing, then directing, staffing, then directing, then controlling. These are management, functions of management, means managerial functions. So planning helps, brings smoothness in other managerial functions. It brings feeling of cooperation among employees, because work is done in a systematic way by dividing the work among all employees, all individuals. It can be done in a systematic manner. That's why it brings a feeling of cooperation among employees. Work can be done in a systematic manner because everything is pre-decided due to planning. That's why work can be done in a systematic manner, and as a result, accomplishment of objective become very easy due to planning. These are the importance. This topic we have already done. Next topic which we have done is characteristics of planning. Characteristics of planning, characteristics, features or nature, feature, characteristics of planning we have already done. For example, it is the primary function, second, continuous process, third, it is universal process, fourth, intellectual process, or conscious and mental process. Concerned with future, planning is concerned with future. Sixth, goal oriented process. Goal oriented. So these are the characteristics of planning. It is primary function, means in short I am explaining, it is the very first function among all the functions of management. It is a continuous process. Reason, every business units are established for indefinite period. So all business units are deciding objectives and try to achieve those objectives. So for achieving objectives, they need to implement all the functions of management like planning, organizing, directing, staffing and controlling. That's why all functions are of continuous nature. Then planning is universal nature. We have already done that planning is not only important in business units, it is also equally important in other fields like battlefields, war fields, sports, education, religious fields, political institution, social institution. Everywhere planning is needed for achieving some specific purpose. Beside this, in business unit also there are different levels of management. Every level of management like top level management, middle level management and bottom level management, they are preparing plans for achieving some objectives. For example, top level management prepare plans for the entire business units. Those plans may be long term or short term. Middle level managements prepare plans for their particular department and such type of plans are of short term. Similarly, bottom level management, supervisors are making plans for day-to-day routine activities. That's why planning is applicable at all level of management. Thus we can say planning is a universal process. Then intellectual process, planning is not made in a very short span of time. Planning is not made in a very short span of time. It takes time. Very long process. After a very long process, planning is made. In next topic we are going to do which type of process are needed to make plans. So it takes lots of time, money, energy, deep study for about futures. That's why it is called intellectual process. Then obviously planning is concerned with future. And goal oriented process, whatever objective is decided by the business unit, in order to achieve those objectives, proper plan is to be made by the business units in order to achieve those objectives. That's why planning is a goal oriented process. So all these points we have already done in the previous lecture. Today new topic is process of planning. Process of planning. New topic, third topic. So total 2 topics or 2 questions we have done. Meaning of planning and its importance, and second topic or question, nature, feature or characteristics of planning. It is primary, any 5 points we have to learn. It is the primary function, continuous process, universal process, intellectual process or conscious and mental process, concerned with future and goal oriented process. Now for today, new topic. Process of planning or question number 3rd. Process of planning means what are the steps required to follow in order to make a master plan, ideal plan for business unit. Process of planning or steps. It is also known as steps. So in the process of planning, first point is determining of objectives. Determining of objectives. Second point, clarifying planning premises. Third point, collection and analysis of information. Fourth, Preparation of alternative plans. Fifth, evaluation of alternative plans. Sixth, selection of best alternative. Seventh, formulation and evaluation of a subsidiary plan. And last, 8 point, evaluation of plan. These are the 8 steps. The total there are 8 steps in the process of planning. Determining objectives. Second, clarifying planning premises. Third, collection and analysis of information. Fourth, preparation of alternative plans. Fifth, evaluation of alternative plans. Sixth, selection of best alternative. Seventh, formulation and evaluation of subsidiary plan. Subsidiary plan is also known as derivative plan. Derivative, D-E-R-I-V-A-T-I-V-E, derivative plan. And last, evaluation of a plan. These are the 8 points or 8 process in order to make plan. These are the process of planning. We have to write all these points in order in exam. Determining of objectives, clarifying, then I am explaining every point in order. Determining of objectives, clarifying planning premises, then collection and analysis of information, then preparation of alternative plans, then evaluation of alternative plans, then selection of best alternative, then formulation, or you can write preparation, formulation and evaluation of subsidiary plan or derivative plan, and last, evaluation of plan. Now first, determining of objective. First point, determining of objective. Every business units decide objective. They are deciding some objectives and try to fulfill those objectives. On the basis of objective, planning is made. So objective is the basis of planning. Not only planning, objective is the basis for all managerial functions, all the functions of management. This is the basis. So first of all, every business unit decide objectives. To fulfill those objective, planning is made. So objective is the basis of planning. Objective may be qualitative or quantitative. Objective may be short term or long term. But objective must be pragmatic. Objective must be pragmatic. P-R-A-G-M-A-T-I-C. Pragmatic means realistic. Objective must be pragmatic, or we can say objective should be realistic. In other words, we can say objective should be realistic. Means it should not be over ambitious. Objective never be over ambitious. Means objective should be such which can be achieved by the business units with their available resources, whatever capacity they have. According to that, they should decide objective. That's why objective should be pragmatic or realistic. It should not be over ambitious. This is about determining of objective. So first of all, business unit needs to determine or decide some objective. It may be long term or short term. It may be qualitative or quantitative, but objective should be pragmatic or realistic. Means it should not be over ambitious. Means objective should be such which can be achieved with the available resources of business unit. This is the explanation of first point. Second, Clarifying planning premises. Planning premises. Premises here means assumptions or forecasting. Again, same explanation. There are various factors. There are various factors which may arise in future and affect business positively or negatively. But right now we are talking about negative effect. So there are various factors which may affect business negatively or adversely. These factors may be internal or external. External factors are like government policies, government laws or act enacted by them time to time. Beside this, competitors' policies, then legal factors, political factors, social factors, various reasons are there. Natural factors, natural calamities, recently COVID-19 is natural factor. So there are various factors which may affect our business adversely. That's why in advance, business unit has to assume or make assumptions or forecast about those uncertainties or risk, and according to that, after observing those risks and uncertainties, they are making assumptions and forecasting in order to reduce those risks. So that is called planning premises. Clarifying planning premises. Every business units are making assumptions and forecasting about the risk or uncertainties which may arise in future and affect their business adversely. So they are trying to read those risks or uncertainties in advance, which is called planning premises. Third, collection and analysis of information. After clarifying planning premises means after making assumptions or forecasting about various factors, which factors means all factors, external factors, especially external factors, they are keep on changing continuously or frequently. They do not remain stable. Every political factors, natural factors, they are keep on changing frequently, very fast. That's why planning is very necessary. That's why experts are making assumptions and forecasting about those risks. After making assumption, third point, after making assumptions and forecasting about those external factors, then they are collecting informations about those factors, whether they are going to change or not. If they change, if those factors changes, what will be the impact on business? Such type of information they are collecting. They are collecting information directly or indirectly, means there are different sources to collect information. We all know in statistics we have read about this, primary sources and secondary sources. There are various sources to collect information. So the experts means experts which are appointed by business units, they are collecting information about those external factors which may affect the business. After collecting information, the irrelevant information which is not important, which has no relation with those factors are removed. Means irrelevant, जो information important नहीं है, जिसका relation इन business unit से नहीं है, उसको हटा दिया जाता है. That is removed. Irrelevant information is deleted. And on the then relevant informations are analyzed deeply by the experts. This is called collection and analysis of information. Third step. After clarifying planning premises, after making assumptions and forecasting about the external factors, then experts are collecting information directly or indirectly, means either through primary sources or through secondary sources. After collection of informations, irrelevant informations means informations which are not important, they are removed from the collection of information, and relevant informations are analyzed or studied deeply by the experts. Fourth step, after analysis of information, on the basis of that, experts are preparing different plans, plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, maximum possible plans they are making for business unit. These maximum possible plans are called alternative. So experts are preparing alternative plans or different plans for business units on the basis of planning premises and analysis of information. Different plans are prepared by experts. After making alternative plans each and every alternative plans are evaluated. Evaluated means experts are observing merits and demerits of each and every alternative plan which they had prepared. Whatever plans, whatever number of plans, alternative plans may be 2, 3, 4, it depends on situation, the nature and size of business units, number of plans. But whatever number of plans they had made, means whatever alternatives they had prepared, each alternative plans are studied by experts very deeply and seriously. They are observing merits and demerits of each and every plan. That is called evaluation of alternative plan. And for evaluation of alternative plans, they are using various mathematical formulas, mathematical or statistical formulas they are applying to evaluate alternative plans. Various mathematical methods or mathematical formulas, statistical formulas or methods they are applying in order to evaluate the alternative plans. Sixth, selection of best alternative. After evaluating each and every alternative plan, the plan which gives maximum, which can give maximum benefit, maximum advantage to business unit, that plan is selected as an ideal plan. As an ideal plan, or which is also known as a basic plan. So after evaluation of each and every alternative plan, the plan which can give maximum advantage, maximum benefit to business unit, that plan is selected as an ideal plan, and that ideal plan is also known as a basic plan. After selection of, now 7th point, explanation of 7th point, after selection of best alternative as an ideal plan, subsidiary plans are also prepared. Now what is subsidiary plan? First of all, subsidiary plan is also known as a derivative plan. Again, still question is same, what is subsidiary plan or derivative plan? These are supportive plan, short-term plan which support the basic plan. Whenever work is not going according to our ideal plan, whatever plan we had decided, we have selected, if work is not going according to that plan, then some small plans, supportive plans which are prepared by experts, these plans are supporting the basic plan or ideal plan, so that our business will not disrupted, it will not get disturbed. These supportive plans are called subsidiary plans and derivative plans. And process of preparing or selecting subsidiary plan or derivative plan is same here, means again they are, means experts are preparing different supportive plans, different alternatives they are making in case of supporting plans. Then again they are evaluating each and every supporting plans, and the plan which they feels that it is the best supportive plan for a basic plan, then they select that subsidiary plan for the basic plan. So after preparing, they are evaluating all those subsidiary plan, and out of those subsidiary plan, which is the best one is selected as subsidiary plan or derivative plan, which is also known as a supportive plan for basic plan. 8th point, evaluation of plan. This is the last step, evaluation of plan. After selecting subsidiary plan, then again experts are evaluating basic plan and subsidiary plan. Again they are evaluating basic plan and subsidiary plan, whether subsidiary plan is suitable for basic plan or not, whether it will support basic plan during contingencies in future if any problem arise, whether subsidiary plan is suitable for basic plan or not. So all such type of evaluations are made by experts, and then after that planning is implemented, means implementation of plan or execution of plan, implementation of plan. So in the last stage, basic plan means ideal plan and subsidiary plan means supportive plans are evaluated together, and after that, that main plan is implemented or executed. But before execution, before implementation of ideal plan, before we are bringing it into action, again we are step by step we are trying to check whether further step is beneficial for the business unit or not. That evaluation at every stage is called look and leap principle. Look and leap principle. Here I am writing look and leap principle. So look and leap principle is adopted at the time of evaluation of plan. It means before implementation of plan in different parts, before implementation we are evaluating that our further action will be beneficial for the business unit or not. That is called look and leap principle. So these are all the steps of planning, process of planning. Determining of objectives, clarifying planning premises, collection and analysis of information, preparation of alternative plans, evaluation of alternative plans, then selection of best alternative, then formulation or a preparation and evaluation of subsidiary plan or derivative plan, and last evaluation of plan. And at this stage, means in the last point, evaluation plan, we are again considering basic plan and subsidiary plan and then implementing plan into action. We are bringing plan into action, but before bringing it into action we are evaluating our each step whether it is beneficial for the business unit or not. This process is called look and leap principle. These are all process of planning. So in short, again I am explaining all about this. Determining of objective in the process of planning. Determination of objective is the first step. This is the first step. Determination of objective is the first step in the process of planning. Every business unit decides objective. Objective must be pragmatic or realistic. It should not be over ambitious, or it should be such which can be achieved with the available resources of the business unit. After determining objective, they are clarifying planning premises. Planning premises means here in one word, assumptions or whatever external factors may affect business. Whatever external factors may affect business, experts are observing those factors deeply and seriously and making assumptions and forecasting about those external or internal factors. That is called planning premises. If planning premises is not clear, not perfect, means if assumptions or forecasting is not accurate, not perfect, then planning is liable to fail. Collection and analysis of information. After making planning premises, then they are collecting information about those factors which may affect business. They are collecting information from different sources, directly or indirectly, or through primary sources or secondary sources. So they are collecting information. Then out of those collected informations which are not important, which are irrelevant, those informations are removed, and then on the basis of relevant information, next step, they are preparing different alternative plans. On the basis of information, on the basis of planning premises, experts are making different plans. Different plans are called alternative plans. For example, again, it depends on nature, size of business units. Plan A, plan 2, plan maybe, alternative maybe 2, 3, 4. It depends on situation. So they are preparing different alternative plans on the basis of information and planning premises. After making different plans or after making different alternative plans for the business unit, each and every alternative plan is evaluated. Means experts are observing merits and demerits of each and every alternative plan. For this purpose, they are using mathematical formulas or statistical formulas. This process is also called operational research. Whenever for evaluating different plans, mathematical methods or statistical methods are used. This process is also known as operational research, OR, in short OR, operational research. Then after evaluating, next step, selection of best alternative After evaluating each and every alternative plan, the plan which the expert, if expert feels that this plan is the best one for the business unit, that plan will be selected as an ideal plan. That ideal plan is also known as basic plan. Next, formulation and evaluation of subsidiary plan. Once ideal plan is selected, once a basic plan is finalized by the experts, then they are making small plans, subsidiary plans, derivative plans or supportive plans in order to support the basic plan at the time of contingencies. कोई भी परेशानी भविष्य में आए और प्लानिंग काम ना करे बेसिक प्लान, तो उसको सपोर्ट करने के लिए, बिकॉज वी कैनॉट चेंज द एंटायर प्लान, द बेसिक प्लान विच वी हैड डिसाइडेड टू इम्प्लीमेंट इन द बिजनेस, वी कैनॉट डाइवर्ट ourselves from that basic plan. So in order to support that basic plan, small plans are made by business unit, that is called subsidiary plan or derivative plan, which support the basic plan. So each and every in basic plan also or in subsidiary plan also, in subsidiary plan also, different alternatives are made by the experts. Then out of those different alternative subsidiary plan, each and every plan is evaluated and the best subsidiary plan is selected by the business unit. After that, last point, evaluation of plan here means entire plan, means basic plan as well as subsidiary plan is evaluated together. And after finalizing basic plan and subsidiary plan, or after selecting basic plan and subsidiary plan, these plan is implemented in the business unit. But before implementation, they are evaluating their actions, whether their actions are beneficial for the business unit or not. This process is called look and leap principle. So look and leap principle is adopted at the time of evaluation of a plan. These are all steps or the process of planning. Third topic or third question we can say is completed. So once again, steps or process planning, points are, try to remind in your mind, try to feed in your mind. First of all, objective is determined, then clarifying planning premises, then for planning premises, for assumptions, informations are collected and analyzed, means collection and analysis of information, then formulation of different plans, means alternative plans, then after for preparation, evaluation of alternative plans, after evaluation, selection of the best alternative as an ideal plan, which is also known as basic plan. After selection of best alternative, preparation or formulation and evaluation of subsidiary plan or derivative plan. Next, evaluation of plan. So total there are 8 steps in the process of planning. So total 3 topics we have completed: meaning and its importance, meaning of planning and its importance. Second topic, characteristics of planning, and third, steps and process of planning. In steps or process of planning, once again, all the points, it is compulsory to write all the points in exam and you have to explain in short, and all the points you have to write in order. This is the third topic, completion of third topic. After that we will start new topic, that is called limitations of planning. Fourth topic is limitations of planning. Limitation of planning. So already we have done 3 topics: importance of planning and its meaning, second, characteristics of planning, and third, in previous lecture we have done process of planning. Now next topic is limitations, drawbacks, demerits of planning. So limitations of plannings are: first point, uncertain future. Second point, time consuming process. Third one is expensive process. Fourth one is planning is irrelevant. And fifth one is use of faulty methods. These are all limitations of planning. First point, uncertain future. Second one is time consuming process. Third one is expensive process. Fourth one is planning is irrelevant. And fifth one is use of faulty method. Now first point, explanation of first point, uncertain future. Planning is made for, we already know, planning is made for future, and future is totally uncertain. Future is uncertain. So no one can predict accurate about future. This is one of the limitation of planning. So no one can predict about future correctly or accurately. So they cannot make accurate assumptions or forecasting about future. This is one of the drawback or limitation of planning. First point, uncertain future. Uncertain future, once again, planning is made for future. In present, we have already studied about this. Planning is made for future in present, and future is totally uncertain. What will be happen in future? Nobody can say accurately or exactly. So this is totally uncertain. That's why experts cannot make accurate assumptions or forecasting about the future. So this is one of the greatest limitation of planning, uncertain future. Second, time consuming process. No doubt planning is a time consuming process, because planning cannot be made in a very short span of time. It takes a lengthy process. Then we have already studied in previous question that what is the process of planning. First of all, objective is decided. Objective is decided. In short, I am writing here, objective is decided or determined. After that, planning premises is clarified. These are process of planning. Planning premises is clarified. After clarification of planning premises, then informations are collected regarding those planning premises. Then on the basis of that, different alternative plans are prepared. Then these alternative plans are evaluated. Then out of those alternative plans, the best alternative plan is selected. After that, subsidiary plan is prepared and evaluated. Then the entire basic plan as well as subsidiary plan is evaluated. Then planning is executed or finalized by the experts. So it is a lengthy process, long time process. That's why it is called time consuming process. So planning is a time consuming process. Expensive process, no doubt planning is made for future, or planning is made to reduce future risk or uncertainties. Planning is made in order to reduce future risk or uncertainties which may arise due to various factors. And business units are not expert in every field, so they are not able to make correct assumptions and forecasting. For this purpose, they are appointing different experts who have expertise and knowledge in different fields, so they can make accurate assumptions and forecasting about different external factors to a larger extent. Means their assumptions or forecasting will be correct, will be perfect to a larger extent, because they have expertise knowledge in that particular fields. Experts have expertise knowledge. They can make correct predictions, they can make correct forecasting, they can make correct assumptions about those factors which may affect the business adversely to a larger extent. That's why experts are appointed by business units. These experts are charging high fees. They are charging high fees. That's why we can say that planning is an expensive process. So planning, first limitation, uncertain future, because planning is made for future in present, and future is totally uncertain. No one can predict about the future correctly, exactly. That's why we can say this is one of the limitation of planning. Means whatever assumption, whatever forecasting we are making about future, it cannot be correct or exact. That's why planning is liable to fail also. Time consuming process we have already done. Planning is made after a long process, objective is determined, planning premises are clarified, then informations are collected, then alternative plans are prepared, then these alternative plans are evaluated, then after evaluation, best alternative plan is selected as an ideal plan, then subsidiary plan is prepared and evaluated, and then evaluation of entire plan. After that, ideal plan is selected. That's why we can say planning is a time consuming process. Expensive process, because planning is made for future in order to reduce those risks and uncertainties which may arise in future due to external factors. And business unit, it is not necessary business unit is expert in every field, political field, religious field, sports field, natural factors. They cannot be expert in all fields. That's why different experts are appointed by business units for making assumptions or forecasting in different external factors, and these experts are charging high fees. That's why we can say it is an expensive process. Fourth, planning is in textbook more than 5 points are given, but we are taking 5 points from board examination point of view. Planning is irrelevant. Now why planning is irrelevant? So again same answer, almost same answer. Why planning is irrelevant? First of all, planning is made for future. Future is uncertain. Assumptions or forecasting is made. Assumptions or forecasting is made. Now you know better than me how to explain this point. Once again, planning is irrelevant. It means planning is made for future, or in planning assumptions or forecasting is made about future risk and uncertainties which may arise due to any factor, due to various factors. Various factors are there, various external factors, and these factors do not remain stable, they keeps on changing. So experts cannot make accurate assumptions or forecasting about the future. No, not experts, no one can make accurate assumptions or forecasting about the future. What will happen in future, no one can say exactly. That's why some experts or critics are taking planning as an irrelevant process. Next, use of faulty methods, FAULTY. Use of faulty methods. We have already done in the previous lecture about process of planning at the time of evaluation of alternative plans. Experts are using various mathematical or statistical method. At the time of evaluation of different alternative plans, experts are using various or different mathematical or statistical methods or formulas. If they are applying those methods, if they are applying wrong methods for evaluation, then also planning is liable to fail. Beside this, for making ideal plan, we have already studied about this. For making ideal plan, they have to collect information. We have already studied about this. For making ideal plan, they have to collect information directly or indirectly, either from primary sources or secondary sources. If these informations are not reliable, not authentic or these informations are incomplete, in that case also planning is liable to fail. These are the 2 points for use of faulty methods. So already we have done 3 topics: importance of planning and its meaning, second characteristics of planning, and third in previous lecture we have done process of planning. Now next topic is limitations, drawbacks, demerits of planning. So limitations of plannings are: first point, uncertain future. Second point, time consuming process. Third one is expensive process. Fourth one is planning is irrelevant. And fifth one is use of faulty methods. These are all limitations of planning. First point, uncertain future. Second one is time consuming process. Third one is expensive process. Fourth one is planning is irrelevant. And fifth one is use of faulty method. Now first point, explanation of first point, uncertain future. Planning is made for, we already know, planning is made for future, and future is totally uncertain. Future is uncertain. So no one can predict accurate about future. This is one of the limitation of planning. So no one can predict about future correctly or accurately. So they cannot make accurate assumptions or forecasting about a future. This is one of the drawback or limitation of planning. First point, uncertain future. Uncertain future, once again, planning is made for future. In present, we have already studied about this. Planning is made for future in present, and future is totally uncertain. What will be happen in future? Nobody can say accurately or exactly. So this is totally uncertain. That's why experts cannot make accurate assumptions or forecasting about the future. So this is one of the greatest limitation of planning, uncertain future. Second, time consuming process. No doubt planning is a time consuming process, because planning cannot be made in a very short span of time. It takes a lengthy process. Then we have already studied in previous question that what is the process of planning. First of all, objective is decided. Objective is decided. In short, I am writing here, objective is decided or determined. After that, planning premises is clarified. These are process of planning. Planning premises is clarified. After clarification of planning premises, then informations are collected regarding those planning premises. Then on the basis of that, different alternative plans are prepared. Then these alternative plans are evaluated. Then out of those alternative plans, the best alternative plan is selected. After that, subsidiary plan is prepared and evaluated. Then the entire basic plan as well as subsidiary plan is evaluated. Then planning is executed or finalized by the experts. So it is a lengthy process, long time process. That's why it is called time consuming process. So planning is a time consuming process. Expensive process, no doubt. Planning is made for future, or planning is made to reduce future risk or uncertainties.